An AEW top star says he believes there will be crossover between the WWE and AEW. And we're going to dive into the impact this has on both brands and just on the world of wrestling in general coming up on this episode of Wrestle Digest. But before we get into all that, we got to say that 97% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button to keep up to date on everything that's happening around the wrestling world. But with that said, Brady, let's jump in. Before we talk about the AEW and WWE stuff, let's talk about Rey Mysterio wanting a PLE in Mexico. And as we see here, this is... Rey Mysterio says within 3 years, he says WWE PLE in Mexico would be amazing. Obviously, he goes on to say here, he said he hopes that it happens in the next 3 years. I think my people deserve something as good as a PLE. He says, I'm truly hoping we have stadiums over there, the Estadio Azteca, which I believe is remodeled. It has been remodeled this year. He says, I think the fans would go crazy. Mexico has always been an incredible crowd for wrestling. Obviously, a whole style of wrestling coming from that place. And he says, what better than to pay it off with WWE coming there and giving them something as special as a PLE. And they also say here in this article, they say, Rey Mysterio's retirement match, main eventing WWE's first Mexican PLE, just seems right. And Brady, I love this idea. I think that it should have already been done. I mean, when I seen this and I was like, there hasn't been a pay-per-view or PLE in Mexico. I think that's just kind of shocking with all the wrestlers we have coming out of Mexico, coming to these big wrestling brands, and there's still some down in Mexico who are phenomenal and never get that break like a guy like Rey Mysterio did. And I think having a PLE down in Mexico, it should definitely happen. And like he said, they have big soccer stadiums and stuff down in Mexico, which they could easily sell out. When you have guys like Damian Priest has ties down in South America. Selena Vega, obviously, we've seen the Puerto Rican PLE, and that was phenomenal. We had Bad Bunny out there and everything like that. So I think having one in Mexico would be really fun to see, and I would really love to see it down there, Brady.
I think it would be a perfect way to send Rey off into the sunset, would be to have him main event, premium live event, the first premium live event in Mexico against Dominik Mysterio in what we talked about just last week, I believe, the hair versus mask match happening in front of the Mexican crowd, dude. Oh my God. Could you imagine the heat that Dominik Mysterio would draw from the crowd down there going up against his father, like the Mexican wrestler of all time? Dude, I think it would be phenomenal. And why not? WWE bring the show anywhere else, so I think it's about time, honestly, that Mexico gets a show. And, we seen the crowd in France for Backlash, and that was just... So I can't even imagine the heat that the Mexican fans would bring.
Yeah, definitely. And as we bring up the Triple H cooking graphic
Someone
here,
cooked here.
I mean, it just makes sense for Triple H to have this PLE in Mexico. We know he's always cooking. He's always got something going backstage, talking about Wrestlemania in England, now bringing a PLE to Scotland for Clash at the Castle and in Bash at Berlin. I mean, they're spending the whole first half pretty much of the WWE calendar year in Europe, so it makes sense for them to have one in Mexico next year, and then have all of the Mexican stars like Andrade and Carlito and Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Legado del Fantasma. It just makes sense for all these guys to have their moment in their home country. I mean, we're seeing it right now with Piper Niven. Someone who was never in contention for the main title is finally getting her first title match in her hometown of Scotland. And to your point, this hair versus mask match would be an amazing retirement match for Rey Mysterio. Obviously, he'd probably lose this match if it was, career on the line or something like this, because that would just push Dom over as a heel even more than he already is. And I think this would be a perfect way to pull off this PLE. There'll be a lot of heat for this match. You know, Rey Mysterio getting demasked in his last ever match in WWE. Can you imagine that? Or Dirty Dom has to shave off the mullet. I mean, that would just be amazing. The Mexico fans would go unreal for this PLE, and I'd like for them to have their own kind of branded PLE. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, if anybody played the 2K games, you know, for the last few years, we got those like Lucha Libre underground type arenas that we could play, and you know, the outdoors kind of like low key circuits. Even if they wanted to do that, now I don't think that would be necessary to have a low key circuit with like all of the fans that Mexico has of the WWE product, especially given, you know, if Rey Mysterio was headlining the PLE, and especially if it was Rey Mysterio's send-off match. So, but yeah, it's definitely something for Paul Levesque to consider because, you know, money talks, man. End of the day.
Yeah, and Brady, we're both from Canada, and we just gotta say for a minute, I mean, some of these crowds at some of the PLEs down in the States, I mean, it just seems dead. I mean, not dead, I mean, it's a good crowd, but, I mean, you see the crowds from, you know, Clash at the Castle last year, from Puerto Rico, from, what we just seen at Backlash France. I mean, the fans over in Europe have been eating. The fans in Puerto Rico were crazy when Bad Bunny came out to his hit song. I thought that place was gonna blow. I mean, it just shows how, you know, having this event in a place that would never ever get this, it just makes sense. Even if it's only a one-time thing, you don't go back there every year. It just gives those guys who are living there, who live and breathe wrestling, a chance to go out, lose their voice, and watch their, you know, favorite wrestler of all time, Rey Mysterio, go out and do his thing. And I really hope we do see that. But we want to hear your guys' thoughts on that down below in the comment section. But we're going to get into the main topic of the video. I know we went long on that one, Brady, but this is a WWE and AEW crossover. As we see here from Swerve Stickland, he says, talking about if the WWE and AEW would ever cross over, meaning like they did with TNA, where the TNA Women's Champion is coming in to fight Roxanne Perez, could stuff like this happen between WWE and AEW? He says, if there's ever a time it could happen, now is more likely than it's ever been. I don't think either person, Tony Khan or Triple H, is opposed to that. And he says, I don't think there's ever been a time that's more likely than now. And Brady, doesn't this just give you shivers down your spine? I mean, we could see WWE and AEW crossover. I mean, that would be insane. Obviously, we've seen it kind of when, you know, WWE, they had the Raw's War and the takeover like that. I just think that would just be phenomenal to see. I mean, not that wrestling's dead right now, but it would certainly spice it up a lot. I mean, that would just be fantastic to see. Could you imagine having Will Ospreay come over the fight like Ricochet or something, man? That would be insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, you know, like, let's be real. It's not likely to happen, but Swerve, when I drive, has a very good point. You know, with Paul Levesque at the helm here now, and Vince McMahon just out of the picture. You know, Tony Khan has the best opportunity right now to, you know, make this thing happen. I don't know if he's too prideful or if Triple H would be too prideful, but I mean, at the end of the day, again, like I said just now, money talks. And I mean, you get a pay-per-view of AEW superstars taking on WWE superstars. It's just going to be phenomenal. Think about it. Moxley versus Rollins, or Moxley versus Reigns, or Moxley versus Rollins versus Reigns. Look at me getting giddy just talking about the Shield. God, I love the Shield. And, you know, you got like the newer guys too, like Orange Cassidy, and like all of the AEW crowd. Adam Cole, you know, coming back. And I mean, I think the biggest one for a lot of people, MJF, man. MJF coming in and just taking on like Cody Rhodes or something. I think that would be crazy. It would be cool to see, but I can't see it happening. Personally, I can't see it happening.
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen either. Would I love to see it happen? Yes, because I would love to see at WrestleMania, after Cody Rhodes retains the title against The Rock, we hear MJF coming out. That would just be so fun to see. don't think it's going to happen, though. I think there's too much animosity between these two brands. Like, we've seen Will Ospreay throwing disses at Triple H, and guys in the WWE roster, you know, slip in disses every now and then. CM Punk has done it quite a bit, obviously being. But one thing that I really like, that kind of gets my brain going here is that Swerve Stickland said this, and this is a guy who's been a part of both companies. So maybe he kind of sees something that nobody else does, and obviously they have a pay-per-view called Forbidden Door, and obviously this would be the Forbidden Door, having WWE and AEW guys fight each other. But like you said, I think, you know, once a year, if they have a PLE or a pay-per-view or whatever they call it, one for each brand, where, you know, guys from WWE come over and fight AEW guys, one where AEW guys come over and fight WWE guys. It'd be cool, like kind of like a Night of Champions thing where, you know, none of the titles around the line, like they just have the world champion on AEW fight the world champion on WWE. They had the TNT champion fight the world heavyweight champion. I think it would just be really cool to see, but I think we're getting our hopes up too high here, Brady.
Yeah, I mean, you know, nothing wrong with a little bit of optimism, but at the end of the day, reality hits, man. And, you know, we all know Triple H cooks. And both myself and Casey, we're just gonna sit back and watch Triple H cook. Can we get that up here again, please? Can we just get that one more time?
We're bringing it up.
Someone
Triple H
here.
cooks, my friend. So anything, listen, I'm back in Triple H 100%, always.
Yeah,
you heard it here.
And I think, like, this right now, like, just kind of my ending point here is, like, AEW is kind of spiraling downwards right now, and getting them to have crossover with the WWE would just bring them back up. And, you know, if WWE wants to be the big name wrestling brand where everybody wants to go, which it already is, I mean, but we've seen guys go over from WWE to AEW. Then we've seen guys now come from AEW over to WWE. So
Ethan Page,
Andrade El Idolo, those are big guys over there, and now they're coming to WWE because maybe they're seeing, hey, we're not going down with the ship. And I think if having this crossover would right the ship for AEW, and I think Triple H, he's a smart guy, he's cooking, he's a businessman at the end of the day, and there's one thing that I know that Triple H wants, and he wants to be the only guy doing the best wrestling shows. And, you know, maybe we'll see crossover, but I very, very highly doubt it. But we want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think there'll be crossover between AEW and WWE? Let us know down below in the comment section. We're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, which is comment of the day. Comment of the day today goes to Wicked Ray. He says, bro's a legend for doing this at his graduation. If you haven't seen this short of Brady at his graduation, I mean, you got to go check that out. I mean, Brady, I'm just going to let you have the floor here, man.
Listen, any chance to acknowledge my tribal chief, I'm going to take that chance and run with it. No matter if I'm on the stage, the grandest stage of them all, or the littlest stage of them all, I'm always going to acknowledge the tribal chief.
And that's the truth. Can't say anything more about that other than Wicked Ray, man. Appreciate you commenting on our shorts and viewing our videos. It means the world to us. And if you guys want to go check out this short, I mean, we'll throw it in at the end of this video, Brady. How about that? It'll be popping up on your screen. Also,
stick around.
Yeah, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button as well. We, really appreciate it. If you're enjoying our content here, want to keep up to date on everything that's happening around the wrestling world, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. You might be featured like Wicked Ray was on the next video. So make sure down below and hit that comment button. And that short of Brady will be popping up on your screen right now. So make sure to go check that out because it is legendary. But I've been your host, Casey, alongside my co-host, Brady. We'll catch you in the next one.